I'm a big proponent of free markets, and you look at the free market system and you wonder when you go to the grocery store how you can have 50 different types of yogurt with 30 different companies producing that. Competition increases service and it lowers price, and it gives you a variety of options. And the same can happen in government. Government has a role. We can all agree on that. We can all agree that we have to pay taxes, and and when you look at government's role, what is it? It's mainly to protect life, property, and provide infrastructure. The rest of the things I think can be privatized. Open them up to competition.
So when you talk about competition, you're talking about privatization, farming out some of the services that the city pays for?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, Andy, you agree with that?
I do agree. We do need to look at competition. We need to look at ways that we can bring free market principles to bear in government. We own and operate our own greenhouse in this city. Why do we do that? There are plenty of privately owned greenhouses in this town. Could we not purchase flowers as we need them from them? One idea. And you get people like myself and Adam in there, you'll see a different face and a different tone on the assembly. Sorry.
The idea that public sector employees can't compete with private sector is part of the ridiculousness that we have in political debate. Either one side is completely right and the other side is completely wrong, and there's no real understanding that most of life takes place in the middle, and that there's a lot of good things that happen in the private sector and in the public sector, a lot of bad things that happen in the private sector and in the public sector. And we've got to start looking for some common sense answers instead of just start throwing out these blanket accusations that private is always good and public is always bad. It doesn't make sense. Anyone think that the bank bonuses that have been written of folks in that sector are deserved?
I mean, let's be honest here. Does anyone think a $14 trillion debt is a good thing? I mean, name a company that has $14 trillion in debt that always asks for more money. I mean, let's be honest here.
Well, but
a private company can only operate at a loss for so long. That's the rules of business. So let's be honest.
Which is why General Motors is continuing to exist today,
because of a bailout by Washington. I mean, we're all part owners in GM. In case you didn't know, that's.
So the point is what?
The point is that you're sitting here saying that you're going to go off on bank bonuses. Let's talk about reality here. Private industry is in business to make a profit, and profits are good things.
But my point was that private industries sometimes fail.
But again, Washington has a $14 trillion debt.
But isn't it true that when the private industry fails, those running the companies suffer the consequences? They don't get to keep their job.
They get golden parachutes a lot of times.
That's with the bailouts. That's true.
No, but even before that, that's part of the reason why we got there. You want to talk about some of the theory here. Look what Adam Smith said about capitalism. He said, in a functioning capitalistic society, you need government regulation to guard against excess. That's the theory of capitalism. And if we want to reduce the sound bites, I'll engage in a soundbite battle with anybody up on the stage and probably do okay with it. But that doesn't solve problems. You've got to think it through.